From WBBZ-TV Sports, it's time to beat the champ. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Peck and Sue Novoitsky.
We are here for our last of 8 weeks at Rapids Bowling Center, the last 4 being a sport competition. We've had great bowling, but they decided to reward us with a ladies show for the very final week. It's the first time this has ever happened on Beat the Champ. We have nothing else, 4 girls. They're going to have a lot of laughs together. And we brought on my doubles partner, Michelle, to make sure that somebody said nice things about me, because I know he won't. So Jim Russo, Michelle, Janelle, make sure you put all the strikes on my name.
I know. I'm not supposed to be biased, but I'll be silently rooting for you.
Thank you. So we have myself taking on Julie Selk, one of the greatest bowlers in the area right now, Bowler of the Year. Winner of that's going to take on Sue Jeziorski, another teammate of mine that you can say nice things about me. And the top qualifier is Peggy Kuhn. It's going to be great bowling today, in all seriousness. I hope you tune in and watch and enjoy what goes on. We're going to mic me.
Bowling?
So,
I thought it was mud wrestling.
Oh, no, it's bowling. I'm sorry, Jim. I wore the bowling outfit. Well, you see what's going to happen
All
here.
right.
So let's have fun today, and let's get rolling.
All right, we're going to start our match with Julie Selk versus Sue Novoitsky. You may have seen Sue around. She's been around Beat the Champ. We call her a groupie around here. She just hangs out. She likes Paul Peck. So her and Paul hang out here on Saturdays. And sometimes they come back on Sunday nights at 11 for a little encore. Julie is going to start on lane 29 and leaves a 10-pin. You know these girls?
I do very well. I bowled with them for years, and they're exceptional bowlers. Very happy that I competed against them. I'm very happy they made the show. They bowled really good. Very proud.
And in case you don't know, that's Michelle Sterner with me. Michelle, one of my former junior bowlers. A little time ago. It was back in the...
That's not over there.
All right.
I'm just a junior bowler.
Okay, and now Sue Novoitsky, who has been telling people for 4 years now how to bowl on TV. We're going to see if she can put her words into action.
Oh, was it on? Wasn't on. Great. It was a good shot. Little high.
Little high, left a 4-pin.
That lane was a little tighter earlier, and I know she switched balls for after practice, so maybe she's a little soft, but it was a good shot nonetheless.
Now, I understand the qualifying for this event was all scratch.
Correct.
So these girls are...
They're all scratch bowlers.
They're all pretty high averages.
Yes, they are. Absolutely.
And they've all had some success on the Pro Tour, on tournaments, and collegiately.
Yes, all of them. Very,
All of them.
very exceptional bowlers. 3 of them in the Hall of Fame. 1 soon to be in the Hall of Fame. Very excited to be part of that.
That's very impressive.
Yes, and I am very happy to say I bowled with all of them and competed. Good shot. Atta girl.
And she trips the 4-pin that time. A little bit high.
Just a little slow.
She'll probably make an adjustment. Oh, now she's going to critique herself.
I guess so, right?
That's a trip 4.
Hey, we'll take care of things back here. You just worry about the bowling. Or whatever it is you're doing up there. There's Julie's
Julie.
shot.
Tucked it a little tuggy.
Oh.
Little break out there.
Right back at you, right?
Alright, a little tuggy.
We are all tied up after 2 frames, thanks to the break that Julie just got. But in this game, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, huh?
Absolutely. We've watched the previous show. We saw a lot of that happen. It's unfortunate. Everybody's talented. It comes just sometimes it's your day and sometimes it's not. There we go. That was a very good shot.
Capitalizes on that break.
It's a very good shot.
In the second frame.
Excellent. Let's see what Susie does here. She makes a little adjustment.
And I think the viewers can already tell we've got some pretty good bowlers out here on the lane.
Absolutely. And I'd have to say most of the viewers know these ladies, and they know them very well. So They've definitely been around for a while. Oh. All right.
And
Little
another
4-pin.
4-pin. So she left a 4-pin, tripped a 4-pin, and left a 4-pin. So it sounds to me like she's coming in a little high.
Just a little. Maybe she needs to move. Maybe a little adjustment.
And I was criticized earlier because in the last week's show I said that Rob Piccoli, after he left a 9-pin,
Yes.
was close to leaving a 4-9. Now, that's the same case here.
Yes, it is. It's getting close. It really is getting close. So I'm sure she remembered that little comment, and she will make the adjustment.
You better not be predicting a 4-9 back there.
She is just the natural-born commentator.
Yes, she is. She's definitely grown into herself with this. Let's see what she does here now. Hopefully she makes a little adjustment. There you go.
Different ball.
Definitely a good shot.
Now
She made the
that's-
adjustment and it was very firm.
That's
Good
the
shot.
sign of a very good bowler.
Yes, there is.
This feels like a good time to take a short break. We'll be right back with more action on Beat the Champ.
Instant replay on Beat the Champ is brought to you by Transit Lanes and Keglers. Join us for bowling, food, and drinks.
Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Let's get back to the action here on WBBZ-TV.
Sue has an accumulative average of 210. And she uses mostly global equipment. I'm not familiar with the bowling ball. I really try to stay away from getting involved with those. Now she went back to the other ball. Is there a reason for that?
She used that ball on this lane. She's using two different balls, as we saw before. She's using it because this lane is definitely hooking more than that lane.
I thought she did that because she saw Mike do it earlier. Mike Zarcone did that last week.
Well, I think she remembered that, and I think she's smart enough to know that.
Or she's just a copycat.
Or she, yeah. Or she's just a copycat.
I know a lot of
Yeah.
bowlers that have
Good bowlers use different balls at
that
each
have
lane.
only one ball, but Sue's going to try to use a different ball every frame.
Well, you know, it's
That
always
would be
it's
interesting.
exciting.
That would be a challenge.
Maybe that's,
would. I think
that
it would
would
be fun.
a good thing for a tournament.
I think so. I think it would be fun. So there are a lot more companies out. Then nice, a good shot with Julie. A lot more companies out. Global, she does throw a lot of global. It's a very good ball company. Consistency. They're very well rounded. Which nowadays, though, if you really want to get down to it, every ball company is well rounded. It used to be, well, you know, this one's better than that. Can't say that much anymore. So it's your preference now.
And don't you find that different manufacturers have the same level of ball?
Yes, absolutely.
Different categories?
Yes. I mean, Storm generally, that's another good shot. Storm generally, I know they'll say hooks a little more, but now they have the other ball companies have upped their game, and they really can now compete with them and be up with them.
So if I go to a pro shop and I say I want something aggressive, they can actually say, well, we have this in Storm, we have this in Global, we have this in Ebonite, we have...
Absolutely. Nowadays, it's more of a preference, which is nice. It's your choice. It's a nice shot.
All right. So Julie with a triple.
Yep,
right
three-bagger
now.
up.
A little bit in
Susie.
command, but Sue is charging right back.
Yep.
If she can put another strike on board, we'll make this close.
Made it very close. It's a very good match. Both girls are bowling well. Yeah, it's real good. Push.
And the dreaded 4-pin again.
Yeah, she's got that. She's got a really good look, but it's just it's a little iffy.
You know, this month our the top qualifier for the shows here at Rapids was Tom Brady, and he got himself a TV.
Nice.
Because he was the high qualifier in the round of 24, and that TV comes courtesy of Dirt Cheap TV.
Very nice. I thank them very much.
They're located on Niagara Falls Boulevard in Amherst.
That's a wonderful. That is
Move, too.
wonderful.
I know.
So if you need any other equipment, stop over and see Jerry at Dirt Jeep TV.
See what Julie does here.
Julie can really put a stake to this game here
Yes,
if
she
she
can.
can add one here.
That's a pretty good shot. It was a very good shot.
That 10 pin looked like it wanted to stay up, but it fell reluctantly. Julie's got a commanding lead now.
She's just got to stay clean. Susie had a few bad breaks.
Yeah, that 4 pin has been her nemesis in this game.
That's a pretty good shot. Very good shot.
There you go.
Julie has a commanding lead, but she threw it really good. They both are going really well. It's fun to watch.
Julie's got a couple of young bowlers here in her corner. Her
She
son
sure does. She's got a little
Lucas and
youngins.
daughter Mattingly back there rooting her on. Mattingly's coaching her, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, telling her what to do. So far,
It's
been
working.
pretty successful, yeah.
There she goes. Oh, here. Very good shot. This is what I expected to see from these two young ladies. Very competitive, hit the pocket a lot. It was just going to be a matter of who's going to carry.
Now, the viewers at home are probably thinking the ladies are not as good as the men. But isn't like a 220 average female the same as a 220 average male?
Absolutely. And I know many people might think that, but it's if you are a bowler in our city, you know very well that's not true.
I know, just trying to get you geared
Yeah,
up
you
here
are,
a little
aren't
bit,
ya?
and I can see the flames coming out. Flames coming out of her ears. What do you mean the men are better than the women?
Most of the guys that we actually grew up with and bowl with have helped us out extremely. Like we, competitive bowling, they will pop bowl with us. They're right there behind us, cheering us on. We're doing the same thing. I mean, they've helped us a lot. We've had a lot of great bowlers in this city.
Well, Sue can get a strike and go out to 209,
She bowled great.
which is not bad. And like I said before, except for that one 2-pin, that 4-pin seemed to be her
Yeah.
biggest nemesis
Yep.
in this game.
Yep. There she moved. Yeah, there it was.
And she finishes
She
up
bowled
really
great, though.
strong. You know what that means? She's probably going to be kicking one of us out of
That's
here.
okay.
At least it wasn't that bad.
Good bowling, babe.
Thanks.
The scorekeeper didn't do her job, though. She didn't give you enough strikes.
That's
Just saying.
Julie looking to put number 6 on the
See how she
scoreboard.
throws this one? That's pretty good. Nice shot.
nice game.
You know, we saw Julie qualified
Job.
to be the first female qualifier for the Beat the Champ show.
Yep.
And that was men and women. And then she went on the show. And I've got to say, she's doing a lot better today than she did on that first show that she was on.
Well, see
Might
ya.
be a little bit of an experience factor there.
are stuck with me. I gotta come back there now.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you going to kick one of us out?
No.
Great game out there by Julie.
And she finished the game, but she's going to end up with a 250.
Yep. Great bowling by these ladies.
254, 255.
Unless she makes us 255.
Yep.
Yeah, girl.
255 to 209 for
Great
Julie
game for the
Self.
ladies.
Oh, we'll get
Pleasure to
that free
watch.
beer now.
I know. Either way, you were getting it.
So unfortunately, we are going to be joined by Susie. I was hoping she'd keep going, but
And Julie will go on to meet our next challengers. All right, well, I have Sue Naboyski with us, and Sue finished 4th, but she ran into a buzzsaw, and Julie Selk, who shot 255 against her. That 4-pin kind of gave you a little trouble, huh?
Yeah, because I heard you back there saying, oh, it's 4-9 is next. No.
Well, you stayed away from that.
I did. No, it was, I don't know which is more nerve-wracking, talking or bowling.
Well, you were doing a lot of talking while you were bowling, we noticed, and maybe that was part of the problem.
You know, Julie's she's just great, and you know, she's got awesome ball speed.
Wow.
And a real head for the game, and she is probably the best in this area right now. So
Really?
I'm glad that I just, yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
she's going against Sue Jazorski, who no chopped liver either.
No chop liver, so we'll see what happens.
All right.
But, I enjoyed bowling, and maybe
ya?
I'll try out for the regular show now. Now that
Good
I got
girl.
the butterflies out. All right, are we wrapping it up?
I guess we're wrapping it
All
up.
right, well,
let's move on to Julie.
Let's see Sue take on Julie and see what happens.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, stay tuned. We've got Julie Selk and the other Sue, the other Polish Sue.
That was, it was nice of you. It was nice
We
of
even
you
did
to
our hair
let
the same.
Julie win so that we wouldn't be confused by having two Sues bowl at the same time.
You know, I know how competitive Julie is and how upset she gets when she loses, so.
Oh God.
No, not really. I tried my hardest, and it was fun though. I'm glad I got to get my feet wet
Good
with
shot.
somebody I'm that comfortable with.
She's throwing it really
That
good.
time the 7-pin refused to fall.
Yeah, I mean, since I'd be safe to say that there was a time when Julie was first beginning that, you know, she was a bit one-dimensional. She had great ball speed and she had great enthusiasm, but she threw the ball so hard, almost like a bit like Rocket Rob, where
Right.
you're limited because your ball speed's so strong. And she
Hi,
just
girl.
got so into the game and into bowling balls and equipment, and really slowed down that ball. She's still got great ball speed.
Sure,
but
sure.
Now she lets the ball do some work, and she's got her hand into it, and she's just grown into such a great bowler.
She really has. You watch her approach, and we watch her for a long time, and it's slower, methodical, and she's there, and she's not like heaving it through. It's very nice. It's very nice.
And you know, Michelle, we've been around a long time, and not as long as Jim, of course, but a long time. A lot of this is knowledge too. You know, your fundamental game has to be good. That's one thing that when I bowled that I really tried to stay down at the line, and I tend to get fast and fall off my feet, so it's important for me to focus on that. So that's all important.
Right.
But then all the knowledge that goes into equipment and
Sure.
watching how your ball reacts.
shot.
And that's where Julie's put her time in. She's put her time into learning.
Right, and she really did.
She's taken her great skill and added knowledge to it, and that makes her very deadly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think she realizes how deadly she could be, though.
She doesn't. She doesn't. We tell her all the time, but she says no.
Sweet J just threw a good shot.
That one came up a little bit high.
Well, the lanes are definitely different. So the right lane is definitely tighter than the left lane. And getting out there and actually executing some shots on it gives you a little more insight into why they're missing high like that. They're missing high because they're trying to overcompensate by giving it that little extra oomph because the lane is tight. So that's why when she overdoes it a little bit, she looks like she's pulling it, or she is pulling it, because if she doesn't, the ball could go straight.
Right, right. And I think she's a little apprehensive about it.
And Sue's pretty scary. I mean, Sue will just say, hey, I'm
Yeah.
not going to drill your bowling ball right the next time. And,
Oh, yes. By the way, yes, Sue does drill Julie's ball.
Oh, do you find
so
that?
this is
Is that it?
Yes, this
She'll
is it.
sabotage
Sure.
your equipment?
We bowl with her long enough. We
Oh.
know. Trust me.
Well, even Liz Johnson's afraid of her.
I
so-
know, right?
Good to know.
See how that is. Atta girl. That's a good shot.
That's a great shot.
That's better. Coming out of it a little bit.
You mentioned Liz Johnson, and while I was watching the girls up there, it occurred to me that we have an awful lot of really premier lady bowlers
We really
in
do.
this area.
We really
So besides Liz, we had Doris and Cindy Colburn, and who else? I'm going to
Peggy.
leave somebody out. Peggy, but I'm talking about even on the
On the pro tour.
Pro Tour, Liz, and of course you guys traveled a lot together and did a lot of things. As Sue puts
we
a double
we
up
have
there.
Holly. I mean, honestly, the list just goes on and on in this area of strong women's talent. Whenever we go to a tournament, there's always a strong showing from Buffalo. But I must say that as good as the bowlers are, not all of them show up for the tournaments anymore, and that's
Right.
That's kind of unfortunate.
Right.
Sue looks
Good
like
shot. Came
she's
back
on
with
a tear here.
Well, she got a break, and then she threw that really, really good. Got an X.
And Julie's
up?
got
Somebody's up.
Julie's
Okay.
got Mattingly and Lucas here to help her, and Robin is here to give Sue some tips. So she's
Yep,
keeping
there's
her
the next
straight.
generation over there.
Yep, there it is,
Yep.
right there. Whoop. And that's what we strive to do when we help the youth. There you go.
Well, there was a perfect example.
Right.
That ball looked great off her hand, but because that lane's a little bit tighter, that's why she keeps pulling it a little bit, because she needs to get it a little bit more to the left to get it going that way.
So what do you think is going on? Because the last match she was right up against you. So what do you think is happening? Because I don't know. I don't know if she is just not comfortable, but all of a sudden it's not
She was
coming
never
on.
comfortable on that lane, even though she did throw a couple good shots in that lane after she had gotten some going.
Yeah.
Which gives you a little bit more relaxed, because I wasn't really putting a whole lot of pressure on her, so she could get a little looser
So
on
you're
that
saying
lane.
she just got lucky when she beat you?
No,
No, I was.
no. That would get me in trouble if I said that. No,
Just
no,
messing.
No, I know what she's
but,
saying.
So
you
if
know,
the lanes were dressed the same way, and they were pretty much the same number of games rolled out, why would the right lane become different than the left lane?
well, you're the proprietor. Shouldn't you be answering that?
I know.
Oh.
I know all of the answers. I'm asking you so that you can tell the viewing public the right. And if you give them the wrong answer, I'll
You'll
expose
Correct
you.
me?
I was thinking, yeah.
I would have to assume there's some characteristics to the lane,
Yep.
and no matter what, even when you put the sports shot on like this, the characteristics of the lane will still come through. And that's why I think they're playing a little bit nicer than the shot is, the graph is actually showing us, because the characteristics of the lane still come through. But yeah, I'd have to say no lane has the same amount of games on it, whether that day they have or not. I mean, they all have their own wear and tear, and topography to some extent.
Topography, yes,
What
it's
would you
huge.
say?
Well, yeah, you're right, but there's a ton of variables. One lane could be under a heating vent or an air conditioning
Right,
vent.
right. Lights.
Depending on what the previous bowlers have been using as far as
There's
equipment.
so many variables.
Softer equipment, harder
Sure.
equipment. Some of the balls may have taken up some of the oil on one lane,
Right.
where it didn't on the other. They could be playing, 2 or 3 bowlers may have played the same line, so that line
Well,
is
sure.
not there anymore.
And no, and many bowlers don't make the same shot, the same way every time on both lanes. So that's gonna.
Sure, that too. It's
All
gonna
play
do
differently.
something with the oil.
This looks like a good time to take a break. We'll be back with more Beat the Champ right after this. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. And I think throughout every house, and I've always laughed because people like John Masiello he was the one that stands out in my mind, probably Mike Newman too. Any house in the city, they would be like, that lane hits more than that lane. They
Oh,
knew the
yeah.
characteristics
Yep.
of the lanes in the house, and it was like,
It's
wow.
crazy. She got that one right. Aye.
Better
Very
shot.
good
Another
shots.
7
Better
pin.
shot.
Yeah, I have a lot of bowlers that really don't understand the amount of variables, whether a lane is next to a cold wall.
And pairs, yeah.
Sometimes you'll have a heater in the back that isn't working, and it might be colder in the back on the
Right.
back end. Everything affects it. Everything. And so you could walk out to a bowling center, being on the top of your game,
I like what you were saying
being
before.
unbeatable, and you can get on a lane that is just not going to
Make
happen
look like
for
you're
you.
doing it right. You don't wanna
Exactly.
roll, or you're like, oh my God, what's going on? It's just that's how it happens.
And you've seen that on the Pro Tour sometimes.
Oh, God, yes.
You'll see a guy go out there and shoot a 150 game, and everybody's laughing. Ah, you see that pro shot 150?
Right.
There's a reason for it.
Absolutely. It's not always easy. It's not all about always, let me just throw the ball.
Great shot.
Julie back on her strike.
And at the end of the day, we're still just trying to project. We're trying to guess at what's going to happen. We're trying to predict what's happening. We talk about oil splashing. We watch the bowler in front of us, what they're doing, or if we're moving pairs, what they're doing, and we try to predict what's happening. But at the end of the day, great shot. You're right. She's not chop liver.
She's not. No, and she's
said she
making
wasn't
this
chop liver.
interesting,
Oh, no.
isn't she?
She's got a 30-pin advantage right now.
So we bowled with her for a long time, and she can be pretty fierce competitive. So I'm sure what's going on in her mind. She's always been our leadoff. She was always our headlight. So I know she's like every shot is aggressive. Every shot is consistent, and that's how.
And it looks like she's getting more and more comfortable as this match progresses.
Sure is. Well, once when you know it's there, and you're like, all you gotta do is execute. Suzanne executed. She just didn't get the breaks. It happens, unfortunately. See, Julie's not coming out of it as good as she was.
Me and Rocket Rob are going to go talk about our 4-pins somewhere tonight.
I'm thinking, well, he was looking at me, he goes, so the 4-pin, I go, don't you even, and he just like, wow.
I just see that with the aggressive equipment that's out there today, you see a lot more. You see a lot more 4-9s. You see a lot more 9-pins.
Absolutely.
Even 7-10s.
Because the ball just goes at such a crazy angle that it's just what happens.
Yeah, you're right. All of a sudden, she got uncomfortable.
Yep.
Well, I noticed she didn't take any practice in between matches either.
I could have.
And I thought that was very odd because me being 103, I could never sit down for 10 minutes.
Oh, me neither.
And then get back up there and start
Even when
bowling.
I was younger, I would take the practice shots just because. But now, never. Yeah, I'm going to keep practicing. See if she does this again. Oop. She's a little ahead of herself.
Yeah, that one got in front of her.
She got a little ahead of herself. That was a terrible one.
I'll tell you, it's tough. You try to block it all out when you're up there, but you want to do everything right. And I talked about it earlier. You don't do this in your head. You have to think about what you want to do, not what you don't want to do.
What you don't, exactly. That is definitely one thing I learned. And I've proven it to myself. I'm like, don't do this, and guess what? So you got to look at the other side of that. You got to say, don't say that to yourself. You got to say, do
the worst
this.
one is when you say don't miss left and don't miss right.
That's exactly it.
And then you got the handcuffs on.
Oh, sure. But you do that to yourself. That's all that is. That's all that's about. We've known that.
Well,
Doesn't mean we don't still
Sue
do it.
can shut Julie out here.
She's already has.
She already has.
This match is.
Well, what do I know?
You're not in charge of the score. All right. With that, Sue has sealed her victory, and we'll come back and talk to Julie and ask her why she beat me up. But anyways, great bowling by Sue, and we'll be back to talk in a minute. Well, here we are again, Julie. It was a great performance against me, and it looks to me like you maybe lost your feel a little bit on that last game.
Yeah, lost the grip. My hands are like a sweat box right now.
Was a little nervous? Did you enjoy it?
I wasn't nervous, but my hands are all sweaty. I think it's these lights.
All right. Well, it was a great performance, and you can never tell, at all that was going on. You did. And so, how'd you feel about bowling on TV the second time? You got it?
Yeah, I got
You're
it.
going to become and bowl the regular show now?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Well, I say all these great things about you, and you got to come live up to it. But great bowling today, and now we get to cheer on Susie and Peggy, right?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Well, stay over here. Where are you going?
Let's go.
Her first time on an interview. Well, we enjoyed ourselves, and we are going to see what the next game can bring. Good luck to both the girls, and I'll be back after that. Here's our feature match. Sue Jeziorsky versus our high qualifier, Peggy Kuhn. Sue is going to start.
Yeah. We'll remember those days.
We know Sue's pretty lined up, and you know, Peggy's coming off the practice pair, which is always a little challenging because the shot, of course, is a little bit different.
She looked like she had a decent shot, so this should be a good match. All of them have been good matches so far.
And Michelle and Peggy both have something in common. Besides being really good bowlers, they both came out of the Manor Lanes Junior program. How do you like them beans?
Wow.
Yeah.
You are Coach of the Year.
And and I happen to know that Peggy
Century,
and
I meant.
Sue are both the same age. I'll let you guess what that is, because I'm not getting into trouble.
I know what it is.
You know what it is?
Because it's still older than me.
All right, Peg a little high.
They both have the same
Tug a
average.
little bit.
Cumulative average of 215 for both of them. So should be a pretty interesting match.
I think so.
Sounds pretty evenly matched so far, huh?
Yeah. You know what I wanted to ask you guys? You did a lot of traveling in your collegiate years, right?
Yes.
And then some.
Do you have any stories about what would happen afterward at the hotels or anything like that? At the bars that you would go to in the hotel? Why don't you fill us in on some
we
of
weren't
that?
old enough to drink. We didn't go to any bars. We went back to our rooms.
Yeah.
And we turned out the lights, and we lit some candles, and we prayed that we'd bowl good the next day. We didn't do
That's what
anything.
college was like.
Yeah.
And
Isn't that what
sticking to
college
that
is like
story.
for everybody?
Yeah, huh? Okay, you cleaned that up nicely, didn't they?
Well, you didn't ask us. See, we didn't bowl together in college because I'm 7 years older than her. You didn't ask us about the years that we bowled on tour and all kinds of tournaments. You didn't ask us about those.
You knew what I meant.
That's a pretty good shot. That a girl.
I do have a
Seems
motto.
to be coming in pretty light. You have a motto?
Yeah, you want to hear it?
Do I have to? Okay, go ahead.
Tequila makes the ball come off.
We've been known. That's a really good motto right there.
It is.
Just so you know.
So if you
helps us
ever,
win.
if you're ever having trouble, you know, like executing and a ball seems to be sticking on your hand, it's tequila.
You know, every time I have the opportunity to be involved with the show, they say
shot?
that I am out of line, and then you guys come up with stuff
Wait a
like
minute.
that.
Who asked the question?
I take it,
right.
never mind. Peggy has her husband Terry, her daughter Morgan, and she's got like 100,000 friends here to watch her. Eric Johns, he's everybody's friend.
Good spare by Susie.
Tom
They've been
Larry
doubles
Fiorella.
partners for a long time.
We have the Damon coach here, ladies coach. Carrie Ratzenberger's here with Kelly. Kelly. What's her name? Kelly. I call her California. She gets mad at me.
She does. She gives him the look. I was like, hey. Let's see how this goes now. Ooh, she got a little right.
She did
Right.
not like that
Well,
shot.
she's pretty deep on the lane, and it's incumbent that she stays there. She doesn't have a whole lot of room to the right because of where she's playing, and that one definitely got away from her to the right.
Pretty sure she wanted to stay aggressive and just got a little away from her, because that's tends to happen.
A little bit, huh? Well, she
Yeah,
opens
that was
the
better.
door for Peggy.
That was a good spare. Susie and I were talking in the break, and unfortunately that's one of those things of don't pull it, don't send it right, and it went right.
Right. Peggy's from Wheatfield. Yeah, correct. Correct. I meant correct. Sorry. Sorry, Jim.
A little better shot. Ooh.
That lane is tricky.
Holy cow, it really is. You think it's good?
She's in the same exact spot that Julie was. I was to the right of it. And my speed's, well, it's not that my speed is softer, but I was definitely right to the spot of her and Julie keep getting caught in it.
In the right in the
And
spot.
I was using a more aggressive bowling ball because of that spot.
Sure. You also have a different hand than both of them, though. It's not a bad thing. It's just you have a different hand. So you can get it through that spot. It's going to react a little bit more than they will.
Now I'm going to ask this question, and I really don't know the answer. Is the equipment that Peggy is using not as aggressive as the equipment that Sue is using? Because it appears to me like her ball just isn't finishing as well.
I don't know about that. I just Peggy's is way up the back of it. Susie comes around it a little bit more. So I think it's just going to be a little different reaction. I don't know. I don't know what Peggy's using, so I'd have to say. And I don't know what are they using?
Well,
Peggy's using Ebonite.
Okay.
And Sue's using Rotogrip Halo.
Okay.
But Sue's ball has, first of all, she went to using two different balls too. She used a different ball in the right lane.
Right.
And I think Peggy's natural game is a lot more down and in.
Yes, right.
And Sue's game, Sue opens the lane up a little bit more. She's got decent ball speed, but she opens the lane up a little bit more than Peggy. So I think they're just choosing equipment that matches up to their hand.
Their hand, right. I agree. I agree with Susie.
Because she went back to this ball.
She went back to that ball. That's a good shot.
That's a good shot. Unfortunately for her, on her good lane, she made a bad shot.
Right.
And then figured out her bad lane.
Happens a lot.
It does.
but as a result, we have a nice tight match here.
Absolutely. This is what I like to see.
Liz Johnson was supposed to be here today with us as well. We would have had our whole national championship team here, but her flight got canceled.
Oh.
Now, see, she threw that really good. That was really, really good shot.
That was a really good shot.
The action will continue on Beat the Champ in just a minute.
Instant replay on Beat the Champ is brought to you by Transit Lanes and Keglers. Join us for bowling, food, and drinks.
Welcome back to Beat the Champ.
It looks like
We have a
Peggy
ball
switched
change
balls.
here.
I think it's good for her.
Good choice. No matter what happens, you're better off than
Yes.
Now, what did
than
she,
just
some more aggressive or less aggressive? What did she do?
No, it's pretty smooth, but it's an aggressive and it's continuous. That's what I think she needs. I don't think she needs skid flip.
just moved her feet a little bit left.
Yep. That was a real. She threw that really good. That lane has just gotten crazy. It really has. I mean, look at that. I really thought she threw that good.
Without us knowing how that ball is drilled or exactly what that ball is,
It's hard to
say
tell
what was gonna
what it
how
was
it
gonna do.
be the lane. But you have to do something and you have to make a choice, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
And commit to it. Committing to something like that, you have to just commit to it. She threw it good. It was aggressive. And that's what happened. But she made the move. And I'll see what she does on this left lane.
Do you find that on tournament conditions or sport shot conditions, modified sport shot conditions, that your balls that you use in leagues, your house balls, don't work?
Huh. Shall we tell them the story?
Yeah, I was kind of bringing it up because it is true that the balls that you will never use, that you never use in league, that sit in your bag, you drill them up and they never seem to come into use.
Good shot.
The ball just bites up too much.
Yes.
They're the ones that come into
Yes.
play when you have a sport shot or a tougher shot.
Absolutely. So our first tour stop together, we bowled doubles. I come out of the gate. Now, I didn't drill anything. Susie didn't drill anything. I come out of the gate. I shoot 120. She shoots 270. We're good. So now I drill ball up. I shoot 300, my first 300 ever, and we make the putt. it was pretty awesome feeling, and we never thought, we're like, drill balls, what do you drill more balls for? So it's definitely, when you're out there and here, it's a definite different scenario, and it doesn't mean you're bad out there. It's just you better get a ball to match up now. That's all it is.
And the balls that you have for your typical house condition rarely ever match up on a sports
Very
shot.
rarely, very rarely. There you go. That's
Great
a good
shot.
shot. Very aggressive.
I don't know if you had the opportunity, but Inside Sports they did a segment on the Nebraska women's bowling team, and they actually have a room for each girl, and I swear they have at least 20 bowling balls for each girl on the team.
Oh, I absolutely, I believe
And
it.
they had this rack, and the girl's name was on it, and these were all her bowling balls. And the commentator said, "Are you telling me you know what each of these balls does?" And she said, "Absolutely."
Yep. I mean,
So it's a very good piece. If you can look it
I
up
think I'm
on
gonna watch
YouTube.
that, yeah.
It's a piece on Nebraska women's bowling, and I was particularly interested because Lindsay Baker, who was the Sweet Home alum,
Right.
and that's the team I coach, she's an alumni of Nebraska too.
that is interesting. And they do, like when we bowled college, like Susie was a little bit before me, but we didn't have sport shots. They didn't have those sport
Right.
shots back then. So now I'm sure all these kids have all these balls, and you know, I absolutely agree with it.
Well, if Peggy strikes out, Sue will need at least 3 pins. So I'm going to
Well,
say
let's
that
see how
this
it goes here. Come on, babe. There you go.
There you go.
Sounds like someone's rooting for someone here. Did
It
you
was a
hear
good
that?
shot. I don't like to see people
Enthusiasm.
lose. You're
Well.
terrible.
Michelle's a fan of good bowling, but at the same time, this match is over. Sue's going to pull this match out. And still, you'd like to see Peggy go out on a good note.
Yes, absolutely.
And have figured something out here because, you know, she's struggling to figure it out. It would be nice to have her figure it out at the end.
Oh, Lord.
Now she finds it, right?
Not a girl. Good finish. Come on. See, that's frustrating. I've been here in this position a lot. And when you find it, and then you're like, oh, my Lord.
Too little, too late.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, sometimes the ball comes off your hand a lot easier, too, when
Sure.
you, A, have tequila, or B, just relax.
That is a rule.
I'm sensing
that
a
is a
trend
rule.
here, Sue.
Are you going, you going to Manor to hide the tequila?
I
You
think.
asked Susie about that.
I
She knows
think
about that
perhaps
rule.
she should have listened to herself about 2 o'clock this afternoon. You would have had a little tequila earlier.
No.
Perhaps
The ball
Julie.
came off just fine.
No, yeah, she did throw it good. Trust me, it's good. She bowled it. It wasn't about the tequila. It was about luck, a little bit of this or that.
Well, Sue's going to pull this one out. Peggy didn't strike out, and Sue is going to get 3 pins anyways. So
Right.
Sue's going to be our champion, even though it was a fun day, and we thank Rapids
gotta-
for offering this to us and putting us girls up. Even you came out and bowled.
I did.
And,
I just missed. But it happens, see? It's one of those days.
Somebody had to talk.
I've got
It
to
was very
say,
fun
it
to watch.
was a great day. It was unique.
It was.
Having 4 of the best lady bowlers in the area compete.
Absolutely.
And having a 5th here to help us along with the commentary.
Thank you.
And hopefully we gave a little insight into what the inner workings of, with the equipment and all of the changes and all of the variables that the game provides for you.
Well, great bowling by Sue, and we're going to wrap this up and go out and talk to the girls and get their take on what happened out there. So keep watching. We're going to talk to everybody soon. Well, I'm here to talk to Peggy here about this match. I think we all agree it was kind of fun to do this, right?
A lot of fun. It was a great opportunity. I'm glad they finally got a women's show going.
And you shot 7:15 to qualify on a sport shot, which I'm sure changed a little bit from what you bowled on when you qualified, right?
Yeah, it wasn't quite the same, but I also played the lanes wrong for most of the game, so that didn't help.
And we were talking about it back there. When you're in a one match situation, you don't get a whole lot of time to figure it out, right?
No, so it is what it is. It's all right. I had a great time.
All right, well, you bowled great. You bowled great to get here.
Thank you, Sue.
Congratulations. And Susie, nice bowling today. Tell me what it was, how you lined up. Were the lanes different for you? How did you line up to them? How did you make your ball choice?
Both lanes were different. 30 was hooking a little earlier, so you had to get something that was a little cleaner through the middle. Couldn't cut it short. And 29 at the end of our match caught up. So I tried different balls and just got into something. I knew I could get to the pocket.
See, people don't understand it. It is always changing out there, isn't it?
And it changes even more when people are watching us on TV because the lights dry out lanes and the people playing on them all day. So they get it quite different. So you got to watch what your ball reaction does.
So what do you like better, bowling or keeping score?
Bowling, hands down.
All right. Well, I kind of like the bowling part too. Well, this is wrapping up for us. We had a great time, and then we're going to come and preview the next week. Jim and I and Janelle will be back. So keep on watching. We'll see you in a bit. Well, that wraps up our 2-month stay at Rapids Bowling Center. We had a great time. We saw all different kinds of bowling conditions. We saw our champions rise and our champions fall. And we also got to see our first women's tournament. So I don't know about you, that was a good time, wasn't it?
No, that was amazing, and that's a great preview for what we have next week. Next week we head out to Salamanca, New York. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Right, so Mike Zarcone will be coming back. We'll have our normal 3 weeks of competition, and then we'll have another ladies tournament. You gonna be there for that?
I was going to try to compete in it, but they won't let me. But I guess
Because your skirt is too short.
I get with this one being so successful, I guess they figured they'd try to see if some lower average ladies can get in the swing of things, and you get the bowling swing of things. So hopefully it'll be a great turnout in Salamanca.
Right, so it's going to be a handicap tournament for the ladies, but I'm sure it's going to be just as exciting. So join us next week in Salamanca and watch Mike Zarcone defend his title.